starting with names. And the question for you three is, what inspired you to run for this position? What essential skills and experience do you bring?
I've spoken to a little bit of that. All told, I have about 17 years experience in volunteer coordination, management, community organizing, strategic planning, policy creation, visioning, and I have experience with several models of board governance, including policy governance. I've worked with government agencies, academic institutions, corporations, nonprofits, and many, many volunteer-based, community-based, and grassroots organizations. And I think my particular interest area is in helping organizations with issues related to creating and transitioning to multicultural community, recruiting and retaining members, doing community outreach, training and education, and strategic planning. I really like to focus on consensus and efficiency in whatever process that I'm a part of, and I think that's useful in a national board level. I have really high aspirations for Unitarian Universalism, and I want the space of our faith to be the best place for people to come together in community, to educate ourselves, to celebrate our shared values and our collective identities, to engage in thoughtful dialogue, to inspire each other, to develop spiritual practices and ethical behavior that help us build personal lives and build the world that we dream about. I want us to be successful in achieving social change and a life-affirming environment for ourselves, for the community beyond Unitarian Universalism. And I think that really one of the challenges is to get those direct services out there to our congregations, to develop models that are adaptable to different geographic regions and different congregational circumstances. And I just want to be a part of really getting that process going and helping to increase the effectiveness of some really good resources that we already have out there.
I am a candidate because I'm a transformational leader. I've worked with organizations that were going to disappear in 50 years because they've perfected the way they've done the same thing for 50 years, and the market forces overturned them, and they were irrelevant, much like we are in the UUA. And people sometimes just don't know how to start to be different. It comes natural to me, and so I help people feel comfortable with the change. I help them get the strategic vision of where they want to be. We're talking about more multicultural, more multi-generational. You have to do it, and you have to feel comfortable doing it so that everybody is feeling that same sacred space. So professionally, I have the strategic skills to organize and help collectively manage that change. I've been a collaborative facilitator who take people's ideas. Each person has the right to be heard and collectively work in groups to build those ideas into strategic plans or implementation plans. And I'm a creative problem solver. There's other ways to look at things, and so what are the options? Just not going with the first thing. But then I balance that with my community skills. I work with summer camps where we are very intentionally intergenerational, and that translates back into our congregation at large, where anyone in my congregation can approach me and say, I need you to do this. That's my working model. And there was a youth that said, the banner up there is boring. Can we change it? We went through our selection process. We were going to change it. An adult came and said, no, you can't do that. It has the wrong name. We had changed our name. The banner was one they could relate to. So I said, yes, you're right. And can we just leave it up there for another week? And then another person told the story. This is the power of telling the story. Said, yes, I want to create a new banner with the right name. And so we honored the person who said it was the wrong name. We honored the young person who was part of our faith growing up. And that's the community that I hope that we can build for our youth.
Thank you. We now will have a 1-minute response from you.
No,
please.
I asked Jim at the beginning what his qualifications for moderator were.
Getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right. What inspired me to run for this position? I actually was encouraged by colleagues of mine, some that I know through the UUA, some I know in the district. 4 years ago, when the position was open, I was district president, and people approached me at that point and said, do you want to be the trustee for the UUA? And I said, no, I'm not done being district president. There was too much to do in the district. I was not ready, and Chuck Woolridge became the trustee, and I have to tell you that Chuck is amazing, and I'm actually quite disappointed that he isn't running for a second term. He is incredibly regarded at the UUA, and he was the best choice 4 years ago for us. The position became open, and several people contacted me, and I said, let me think about it. I had thought about it a few years ago. It's a lot of work. It's a volunteer position that is probably a quarter to a half-time job. There's a lot of meetings, there's a lot of being away from home. And yet I thought, I can do this. I have the skills. I was on the district board as we transitioned to policy governance several years back. Our district is probably one of the most successful in doing policy governance work. I've now agreed to be an adjunct staff of the district to help congregations that are thinking about going into policy governance and leadership work. So I've done some of the Carver training. And policy governance is really about good governance. It's really not about necessarily doing any one thing, but it's about good governance. And we need good governance in our congregations and in our district, and we certainly need it at the UUA level. While I was district president, I spent a year as the observer on the UUA board and was able to go to the board for their meetings. And I could see how they were functioning, and they were transitioning into policy governance, and it was really clear that they needed to transition into policy governance and have a clear sense of what the board would do and what the UUA staff would do. And I'm excited about having the possibility of being on the UUA board to help the visioning that they are being asked to do for the Unitarian Universalists, for our Association of Congregations. And I think we have an amazing staff at the UUA, and I am very sure that they can do the work that the board is visioning. And so I'm excited about that. And I really want that opportunity to bring my skills to the UUA board. And I'm hoping that you all will agree with me in Harrisburg.